Alright, how are we doing? I'm honestly just gonna dive straight into it. I'm pretty sure most people who play Rise of Kingdoms have seen the recent news regarding the new commanders such as Hector and Achilles. I'm gonna add on to that here. For the longest time, in cavalry meta at least, Huo Arthur, in recent times, within the past half year I want to say, has been the dominant march to run on open field. However, there have been marches with Joan of Prime, which have kind of taken everything by storm, like Joan Arthur, even Huo Joan, which has been seen to be insane on open field. Because all of this information was actually released by Rise of Kingdoms, we now know the entire skill set of Achilles. Now, I'm actually not going to do a rundown of all of Achilles' skills because Big Man over here has already done it. I'm going to throw his video in the description. I think he did a great job with everything. So if you want to see what he has to say about Achilles and Hector, the new commanders, I highly recommend you watch it. So for now, I'm just going to give a brief summary of what these skills actually do that make Achilles so damn broken. Now, I'm only going to go over two skills here, but we're going to start with the active skill in the build, Achilles Spear. I really hope I'm pronouncing that right. However, you launch 2 combo attacks up to 5 nearby enemy troops, and it does a damage factor 1000 2 times, so I'm just going to say 2000 damage factor to 5 troops. And the targets lose 20% march speed, and they're also inflicted with Sundered for 10 seconds. Now, do I think this is a good primary ability? Yes, I do. And here's why. Even though the damage is reduced by 15%, depending on the targets that are involved, it still adds up to being just under 10k total damage factor, which, when you think about it, that's better than Joan of Arc, debatably better than Arthur as a secondary, and it kind of just blows Cav out of the water a little bit. Ability 3 here is a little bit interesting, as you take less damage overall. All incoming skill damage, combo attack damage, and counterattack damage is reduced. And whenever they reduce a total of 3000 damage factor, which is actually even less when it's expertise, this is actually without expertise, just at 5, you quite literally just use the spear skill again. Here's the thing, when you reduce damage by 10%, or at least most types of damage, and then you need to... How do I word this? You need to reduce damage by 10%, but you need to build up a total of 3000 damage factor. I'm not gonna lie, that's kind of hard to do. Building up that amount of damage factor might take a little while. However, I assume, just based on how this is stated, and the fact that there are no visual cooldowns for this ability, I have a feeling it could be pretty broken in those smaller scale battles where you're just more likely to get targeted by other people. Like if you're in a scenario where you're getting hella ganked, I'm talking 5 people, you're getting swarmed, and there's no cooldown on this, are you going to be able to maintain positive while being swarmed because you can just constantly, in a circle around you, obliterate everything? It's pretty interesting to think about. However, I don't see this being too crazy on, the total commander list. Shi Huang has way better things than this. However, I will admit, combining this with the first move and also the damage increase you get from Achilles Spear, that really goes together. It really, really does. You gain more damage, lower march speed on everyone around you, you take less damage, even more less damage, and whenever you reduce all that damage, you can proc extra skills. So it almost seems like a tanky version of a Cav March, but a Cav March that's tanky and can also hold its own. However, we're not able to really look at this too closely yet, as who knows, it could actually be way worse on field than we think. Now that we've went through all of the skills, you guys can't really tell me it doesn't seem like a Joan upgrade. A circle AoE, 2000 damage factor, same as Joan, but it hits 5 targets instead of 3. And it reduces damage, it does all this stuff. It seems like a tankier, better version of Joan Prime. Alright, so, now we get to the fun part. Do I think Achilles is going to kind of take over Joan in the meta? And it's kind of a long answer, I'm not going to lie. I do think Joan is going to be like put down a little bit. And honestly, I don't think Joan is going to be in a primary march at all. Sure, I might be wrong. Maybe, I don't know, Achilles Joan could work somehow. But I think the main march from now on is going to be Arthur Achilles unless another commander is released down the line. As I really don't think Hector, because he's single target, will influence Cav in any way. But here's what I will say. Joan definitely has potential to be a secondary march. Huo Joan, Nevsky Joan still work fine. And yeah, there isn't too much else to say here, so I'm going to leave you with that. I'm really excited for this update. By the time the video comes out, it should come out in like 2 or 3 days, so we can all be hyped up for that. And with that, I'll see you guys when the update comes out. Have a good one.